Today, I would like to talk about a story of how Hong Kong students will try to regain the Hong Kong future. I will talk about my profile, experience, movement, and what's the value behind. Actually, even today I'm on a stage, I'm still a normal student of 18 years old, studying in Open University Year 2 in Politics and Public Administration. But I think because of my involvement and participation in social movement, last year I become the appear in the Time magazine cover, and Fortune said that I'm the 50 world greatest leader, and even I'm the 2014 Global Thinkers. It's quite out of my expectation. I'm an activist, but I'm not a thinker. Anyway, fine, yeah. And I would like to talk about being the convener of scholarism. That I found this organization 4 or 5 years ago. I involved in two movements, anti-national education movement and umbrella movement. I think the story of regain the future of Hong Kong should be start from 2011, while I'm 14 years old. 5 years ago, the government would like to establish the national education subject that would like to impose the patriotic education to all of the Hong Kong students. And I try to find scholarism to say that we need to withdraw this subject. We would not accept any brainwash education. We'll use different propaganda, promotion, and Facebook event to present our idea. And later on in around 2011, while I'm just 14 years old, I tried to organize a strip promotion, some of the press conference, and even organize the protest on street, but only 200 participants. Yeah. And later on, in 2012, while I'm 15 years old, under the description of government, it say that they published teaching material named China Model, said that China ruling party is progressive, selfless, and united. We think it's totally unacceptable. How come Communist Party would be selfless and united? And later on, a lot of Hong Kong parents and students come to join to support the stand of scholarism and support my idea. And we organized a demonstration with 90,000 people involved in it. And 3 years ago in summer holiday, yeah. And we have the slogan of "Do not brainwash our students to save the next generation." And later on, after we organized the protest from 200 people to 90,000 people, government still do not give any response to us. Of course, for the secondary school student, if we need to organize a movement, it's really a challenge for us. Anyway, we try to organize the hunger strike with secondary school students. And we try to organize more demonstration and occupy the place outside of the government headquarters. It's really unusual for secondary school students to have hunger strike to give pressure to the government. That's why even in Hong Kong, one of the website named this AV, it even closed the website and support the movement. And finally, actually, in 3 years ago, we created a miracle in Hong Kong. 120,000 people occupy the Citizen Square. Say that we need to save the next generation, save our critical and independence of thinking. Do not need to impose any brainwashing education to Hong Kong. We win in this battle, and I'm just only 15 years old. The story continues. We continue to regain Hong Kong future, but we hope to fight for direct election in Hong Kong, because in Hong Kong, only 1,200 people can be the voters in the election to choose our chief executive. And we organized the civil disobedience and direct action. And even while we organized the direct action, actually the ratio of activists and police are 1 to 7. As you guys see in the photo, I'm being pushed by the policemen, and they always use violence. Even we persist on the principle of peace and non-violence. We fight for direct election just because the next generation hopes to decide the future. And later on, after the Communist Party say that only politicians who support Communist Party could be the chief executive candidate, we organized the student strike in university and even secondary school. Some of the students, they are only in junior form, 13 years old or 14 years old, just graduate from primary school. They also join into our line to have the student strike. For nearly 10,000 people involved, at least in it. But however, we have fight for direct election in Hong Kong for more than 30 years. We try to have student strike, demonstration, direct action. Government still do not give any response. And in last year, if you guys have read the news, you guys will know have the umbrella movement. Actually, the starting point of umbrella movement and Occupy action is the action in the last year, 26th of September, named Regain the Citizen Square. We try to climb over the 3 meters high barrier to enter the Citizen Square to show our disagreement to government. A lot of foreign media reported, and this is the first time for me to be arrested. And later on, more of the people come to support us, and we occupy the street outside of the government headquarters, named Admiralty. We try to continue to occupy the street. The policemen try to use pepper spray. We use the umbrella to protect ourselves. That's why last year the Occupy action we also named as umbrella movement, because we used the umbrella to protect ourselves. While policemen in last year, 28th of September, is not effective enough for using pepper spray. They try to use tear gas. They use 87 tear gas, try to clear the road and to stop the Occupy action. However, we still persist and occupy for more than 78 days, nearly 3 months. But for whole of the movement, one of the most important things and most scary thing is, and last year, 28th of September, they raised a flag named Disperse or We Fight, and they hold a gun. We have scared and worried that will the result or end of last year's movement, just like the June 4th event in 1989 of Beijing. Anyway, we occupy more than 78 days without any positive outcome. And after whole of the movement in 2015, of course, I received different pressures, such as some of the pro-Beijing newspaper may say that I'm the U.S. citizen, and even I received the U.S. military training, and I'm the CIA agent. It's all published in the 8-1 headline of pro-Beijing newspaper in Hong Kong. How come I'm the CIA or I received the military training? Anyway, and it's really just a joke. But also, I faced pressure that later, after I back to Hong Kong, I need to go to court because I've incited illegal assembly of struck public officer performing their duty and contempt of court. Maybe in this year, and I need to go into the jail. From my point of view, actually for a student from 14 years old to 18 years old involved in social movement, it's really unusual for a student to organize a protest. From scholarism have just 10 members until now have 200 members. From just organizing a 200 participant protest to 200,000 people umbrella movement. All of the things is out of my expectation. But from my point of view, I just believe that being a student, rather than just following the mainstream that we need to have better academic results or we need to have a better job, especially in Hong Kong, because in Hong Kong only 18% students can enter university. And we have really serious income, we have the really serious problem for the income inequality compared to other well-developed countries. I just remind myself, actually, from my participation from 2011 till now, it's really a challenge for fight for direct election and universal suffrage in Hong Kong, because none of the country can get universal suffrage or democracy under the rule of Communist Party. However, I always remind myself is this is one of the sentence and one of the part of the article I write in last year in New York Times. I have reminded the ruling class Today you are dominating our future. But the day will come when we decide your future. No matter what happens to the protest movement, we will claim the democracy that belongs to us because time is on our side. I just remind... Of course, fight for democracy under the rule of Communist Party of China is we are just trying to turn something impossible to be possible. But as I've more mentioned, time is on our side. Until now, I'm just 18 years old. Of course, I could not promise that I will continue to fight in the front line until 50 or 80 years old. But I think after the movement last year ended, we could not win the battle. But in the future, we can win the war. That's why I believe in different countries, no matter they're facing what kind of challenge from the ruling class, we still can continue to have the movement. Especially, I hope in different countries, no matter Hong Kong, in Asia, or different Western countries all over the world, more of the students, they can participate in social movement to tell the ruling class that politics is not the things that owned by those old people about 50 years old. This is my end of my presentation. Thank you.